Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Roxanne. This is my empty nest gardens and I garden in Zone 5, Ontario, Canada. I apologize for the time of day that I'm recording this. The colors are going to be washed out. So I want to let you all know my experience with a no-dig perennial border. This is a close-up of what we're dealing with here. It is nothing but sand, rock, and sedum. This stuff is terrible, awful stuff. So I would encourage you, if you want to put in a big perennial border, it is easy. Throw down a whole bunch of cardboard, newspaper, brown bags, whatever you can find. That's what I did. And then we went to our local nursery and we got 2 great big loads full of compost and laid it on. So in the middle, probably it was about 4 inches thick, and to the edges about 2 inches. I was concerned that the weeds, especially the broadleaf weeds, were just gonna punch their way through that. Nothing did. Like, I'm not kidding you, nothing did. This was so easy to weed from, just the seeds that fly in through the air, but nothing came up from underneath. It was easy. As you can see here, we're slowly putting like arborist chips around. They were free. My husband found on Marketplace, somebody had cut down some trees. They were cedar and maple. They were just mixed into a pile, had the green with it as well, and it was perfect. Actually, it was already heating up in the pile that we took from. You could feel the heat coming off of it. So I'm just like, this was gold. I was so happy. James Prigioni did a little thing about his excitement over getting arborist chips, and I should try to link something here, but that was my reaction when we got this best anniversary present ever. Thanks, Bill. Anyways, it took us a total of 40 minutes just to spread those 2 loads around the garden bed. So I didn't even put cardboard down. I just threw the arborist chips, and it should do its thing. Also, around the edges of my garden, I've been placing our grass clippings. That's also working out well, and all of this is just gonna improve this soil over time. I'm very excited about it. So all these plants that you're seeing have only been in the ground, either transplanted last fall or transplanted this spring. Yeah, doing really good. And sadly, as we look up the property, you won't be able to see the secret garden anymore from the road because we have all that firewood, and that won't be gone until late fall. Also, I've used the bark that comes off of the logs as mulch, and it works out good. Bark on a tree is already dead, so it is carbon. It will not suck nitrogen. My favorite hybrid daylily that I don't know the name of anymore. And then I've planted some zinnias, just scattered seeds in these tubs. These tubs I also filled with weeds that I pulled from around the property. Just a bunch of junk. I think there's logs in there too. Anything to take up a whole bunch of space. And then I put good soil on the top, like 6 inches. And then in this tub, the Japanese beetles are going to town, and I think the earwigs are along for the party. Does anyone know what berries or what shrub this is? I noticed it a few years ago. Don't know where it came from. On the front edges of all my garden borders, I've started to put alyssum. I'm also using wax begonias and ajuga. Those are my 3 go-to for edges. So here's a hydrangea, microphylla, I think it's called. It's supposed to be a blue. Obviously, we have alkaline soil, so that's not going to happen. But all the buds were frozen off in our late June frost. And I thought we weren't going to get flowers this year, but look at that, flowers. So we're walking over to these echinacea here. They got massive this year. I need to move them. They're too big for this area, and the hydrangeas are also getting enormous. So I have some work to do this fall. But that echinacea, the shorter one here in the center, is the green twister. Not as green as it was last year. And then powwows on one side, and then just like your regular echinacea purpurea is on the other side, and I don't know which is which. And another one I don't know which is the white echinacea that I have. I don't know if it's white swan or powwow white. To the left down there is banana cream, Shasta daisies from Proven Winners. Yeah, I don't know, white swan or powwow white. If anyone knows how to tell the difference, please let me know. This is a late flowering allium called Pink Jewel. Jury's still out on whether I like this one or not. Those bags of soil are calling my name, but I am not touching them until the weather gets cooler. I have to expand that bed right there out because the hydrangeas are about a foot out into the lawn. These two large planters by the garage, I'm really happy with them this year. Everything is from seed except for the centerpiece, which is a tuberous begonia. They've started to come into flower, like that one right there. Here's a really good example of how I'm using our grass clippings for a mulch. Doesn't look too bad, and it's adding to the health of the soil. This also is very sandy soil, and just some compost on top, and just lining the edges of it with the grass is really helping a lot. My absolute favorite flower is a freesia, for the smell and for the structure of the flower itself. I cannot grow freesias here. I've tried. So this is a close second to that. Doesn't have the scent of a freesia, but definitely has that artistic look to it. So I started with 10 lucifer, which is the red ones, and 8 saffron fire bulbs or corms of crocosmia. The first year I got no flowers. I think maybe I had 1 lucifer flower, but nothing else flowered, and the rabbits went to town on this as well. So this year the rabbits left it alone. I wish I knew why, so I could duplicate that every year, but anyways. All right, now let's go take a look at the vegetable garden. I gave up on the brassica cage. Putting it on and off was a pain in the butt, and you'll see the results of that in a second. Onions. Who knew I could grow onions? But yeah, here we go. I've started spraying with BT, but I've pretty much given up. I don't know what to do. Anyone have advice? I can't stand pulling those worms off. Tomatoes are doing fantastic. This is my second time filming all of this. Long story, but we don't have good internet out here. And it took me, I tried for 4 nights and it wouldn't upload. And then I did something the other day and I ended up deleting all of it. Anyhow, take 2. But yeah, these ones here are Juliet's. My goodness, they're huge for a cherry tomato. And these ones are purple bumblebee. They're just starting to blush their color. And we've been pulling off every other day. I've been getting handfuls of Esterina and Sun Golds are my 2 cherry tomatoes this year. They're both in the yellow family. I'm finding that the Esterina is like a real yellow and it literally tastes like a grape in your mouth. Like it even has that feel. So here's just some bush beans and some celery from seed. I grew it. I haven't tasted any yet. Haven't cut any off because they're pretty skinny. This is a rattlesnake bean that I planted out about 3 weeks ago now. I guess he decided to go around the celery and not up the trellis. So there's just 3 plants in there. Last year I planted 5 and it was way too many for us. And here is my successful Swiss chard. Oh, my gladiola's really struggling in the heat. Aftermath of my first beet harvest. Oh, it's huge. So we just saw the neighbor. Let's weigh it. Don't mind the state of my scale. I was making banana bread last night. Okay, what have we got here? Okay, 1,674 grams. £3 pounds, 11 ounces. 260 grams is the weight of, and then unit is 915 ounces. I'll go do math.